If it were ever to come to pass that a company or a division or a department uh, were structured around missions, these aren't social impact missions. These are, here's the desired outcome of the company or this department. If I break down that desired outcome into all of the missions that are necessary in order for that desired outcome to come true, and then I assign missions to teams, and we assign the metrics that indicate the desired outcome, but also how we're going to measure progress towards that desired outcome. And then we also provide guardrails on, the lanes that those teams have to stay in accomplishing their mission, and guardrails around behavior so that we stick with corporate values and ethics. There's another component to this structure that's required, and that is called Team of Teams. And it's named after General McChrystal's book, Team of Teams, which you should read because it sort of shows the agile side of the military that McChrystal and others came up with during the Iraq War. And it was sort of this fascinating change that happened, hierarchical command and control to win the war against the regular Iraqi army, but then sort of this completely new, agile, interconnected, decentralized force required to fight Al Qaeda in Iraq. Super fascinating transformation that actually foretold the change that was going to be required in all other aspects of society. And of course, we're right in the throes of it in business, but we'll also see it in education and government. And that's what disruption proof is all about. But so inside this business, we have this layer of agile teams that are all assigned missions. Those missions, you can draw a direct line from those missions to the desired outcome. You need these team of teams, and their responsibility is to aggregate, consolidate and aggregate, integrate this output that's coming from the teams and making sure that it's aligned and that it's achieving this larger context, right? So instead of focusing on the mission, it's sort of this layer above, and we have to make sure all of the components are fitting together properly, and whether we've considered all of the components that are necessary. And if we haven't considered them all, then we have to, spin up other teams, or maybe we have to rejig existing teams. And so this team of teams layer becomes critical in aligning the work of the agile teams below with the vision above, with the strategic priorities above. And you may have multiple layers of these team of teams that are aggregating and integrating the information on the way up. And so this, I've mentioned before, is the new role of middle management, is to manage the flow of data up, output, and also the flow of priorities and guardrails and lanes down. And middle management needs to coordinate that. It becomes a very strategic role, and the metrics have to be aligned and assigned properly. And then there's this whole new communications flow that has to happen because all of this information is coming from the edge of the company. It's coming from the ground up, and it needs to go up and it needs to go out across the rest of the organization. And there's a lot of components there that I don't think are considered in just the agile world or in the scaled agile world. And it requires a bunch of other domains that we need to think about, and sort of these mechanisms and even this phrase that organizational design people throw around called scaffolding, these other components that are necessary in order to get all of that to work. Super fascinating, and love to hear what your thoughts are on it.